Hello, I am Julie Larson, your host, and today is, I call it Mama Day because we're going to go over the childbirth class that I am making. I'm making a new improved version of the childbirth class, St. Gianna childbirth class. So welcome to day 2. I think it's going to be day 2 of our conference, and we're going to have the childbirth class information today. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started on this. So St. Gianna, I decided to go back to the name St. Gianna for the childbirth class. So St. Gianna childbirth class for pregnant moms. And then this is just like a little welcome slide. So this is going to be our sampler module. I may add in a little extra stuff for the fuller module, but there'll be a little portions that might still add into here. But for right now, this is kind of our sampler module. And so this is kind of a free preview of our childbirth class that we're gonna be starting up in, I think we're gonna start in April. So for those parents who are interested in taking a class online, we're gonna have certain class dates. So reactivating this book and this class, and adding in the book, Gift of Birth book. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So let's dive in. So our required book list. So the required book is The Gift of Birth, Discerning God's Presence During Childbirth, Christ-Centered Childbirth by Kelly Townsend, Little Way of Motherhood by Julie Larson, Optional Comfort and Birth Method by Julie Larson, Made for This by Mary Hastline, Birth Partner by Penny Simpkin. Those other ones, last two are kind of more recommended readings. On the Comfort and Birth Method, I will either be sending you a PDF of just some of the chapters I want you to read from the book. You don't have to read the whole book. I'm actually thinking about making kind of like a mama version of that book, but for right now, I'll just probably gonna just pull a couple of chapters or so to send you to read, or I may just send you the full PDF and just say read certain chapters. Anyway, so the Gift of Birth, I just kind of showed you the cover a minute ago. It's this cover, kind of hard to see. This my little light is a little too bright, I think. Anyway, it's kind of got blue, and anyway, this is by Susan Winley Dowse. She is a midwife, okay? And this one, the Kelly Townsend, is Christ-Centered Childbirth. So I've had this book for a little bit, and it's got really good materials in it, and I think it's really a great book even for Catholics. So, but if you're a Christian, you might enjoy this book a lot as well, because there's a lot of Bible passages and things like that in it. So my class is open to Catholics and Christians, so I'm hoping that I will have a wider audience that way. And then the Little Way of Motherhood book is, I don't really have a copy here, but there's actually 2 different versions. If you go online, there's one that's a bigger size, and it has a woman with a pregnant yellow dress on, I think. And then there's another one that's a smaller size. It's just like a little smaller book. It's like a blue, basically the same content. The only difference is I think the bigger one may have more room to write in. So if you're looking for something to journal in, I'd probably recommend the bigger size one. And I can give you links to that if you're interested in, purchasing that for the class. If you decide to come to class, if you're a mama listening to this. And if you're a doula or childbirth educator, just kind of wanting to come to a childbirth class, I'll let you come to one session to account for your childbirth class credit, or a recorded session. Probably more like a recorded session. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about how the sessions work. So I have a self-paced versus fast-track sessions. So self-paced, we charge a little, we'll charge a little more for this as we improve the class, but we're going to charge a little less, slightly less for the self-paced version. So self-paced will be pretty much not that much. I mean, I might charge a little bit more than what it's up there for right now. So I think I had it on sale for $99, but it's not going to be that much difference for self-paced unless you choose with video. With video, I will charge a little bit more with the video. But the with video won't be available until middle of April, probably. Book reading will be expected from both types, self-paced or fast track. It'll be optional to turn in homework, but if you turn in your homework, you get a certificate. Okay, so the fast track, let's talk about that. So that's like the Zoom classes where I host over Zoom, and we meet with parents one-on-one. Excuse me. So I am doing this as a group class, okay? But one couple makes a class. So if I only have one couple show up, there's only one couple show up, that's fine. So here's my class dates for 2024, or at least tentative dates. You know, could change something, but for right now, this is what I'm thinking: April 13th through May 11th, May 25th through June 29th, July 26th through August 10th. I'm not really sure about doing a fall class right now. I just want to see how the summer classes go. I might throw in a fall class later if the summer ones are going well and I have enough interest for fall class. So right now, I'm just, these are my dates that I'm going to be doing it for this coming year right now. So the April one's great for a late May due date or June, July due dates. The May through June one is great for July, August, September due dates, or even October, November due dates. July through August would be great for the late August, September, or October due dates. And November, December are welcome as well. So this is kind of how we're doing it right now. And I may do another class, maybe September through October, something like that. Again, I'm just gonna see how, if I can get enough interest in the classes for the summer, the spring and summer right now. And so, and then we have like a dad's only class. Well, I'm working on dad's only class. It'll have some dad books like Your Pregnancy for the Father to Be and The Expectant Father. So the dad's class will just be a recorded class only for right now, unless if I have enough interest to actually do a live class with a dad, I would be interested in doing that. But and there will be an extra fee just because of my time. But for right now, I'm planning to do the dad class as kind of like a separate little class. And if the parents sign up for the St. Gianna and the St. Martin boot camp together, then I'll give a discount for the combination class. So you're going to get like the live class with me or recorded class with me, whichever one you choose. And then you get the St. Martin boot camp as an add-on, and it'll be a little extra discount if you do that. I just wanted I wanted to offer a dad's class. So dads can be a little bit more informed about pregnancy. So okay, hold on. Let me go back to the class, the other class. So this will be a group class. So if somebody wants like a non-group class, let's say you don't want to meet with a group, you just don't feel comfortable with it, and I'm having to do it outside the dates I've chosen, then I will charge a little extra fee for that. So just letting you know, but everything, price-wise, the self-paced will be a little less expensive. Even with the recording, it's going to be a little less expensive than fast track probably. But I may do a special deal where the fast track and recorded are the same for like April and May or something, just whatever. When I may have a promotional discount kind of thing. So it won't matter which one you sign up for. So just look for my emails or messages. If you want to be on the email list for this childbirth class, message me at catholicdoulaprogram@gmail.com. That way you get on the mailing list, or info@catholicdoula.com. That's the one you'll need to whitelist. Okay, now let's go back. So we did the Martin Boot Camp information. So I'm also offering other little classes because I just feel like sometimes mothers, let's say you're a mom, you've already done a hospital class. You're like, I feel fine. I don't really want to do this fuller, longer class. Well, then I'm doing a St. Jim with Spirituality labor class. So this is going to include like spirituality, mental preparation. I'm going to add in as much spiritual stuff on the spiritual side. So, and they add in some advanced labor strategies. I kind of did something like this with a Rebozo workshop, but this one's going to be slightly different than the one I did offline. So I may use some of that, but I really want it to be more spiritual focused with maybe some advanced labor strategies included. So I might have some of that same information in it, but I may add in more spirituality. So let's just put it that way. And so it would complement a childbirth class that you took somewhere else. So basically, you're going to learn a little bit more of the spiritual side, the mental side, and I may have some advanced labor strategies. So you won't be interested in taking it, even though you've already taken another class somewhere else. I'm hoping I could just get this other audience that of moms that are like, oh, I already took a childbirth class, but this is different. Okay, so this is going to be a different class. It's going to have more things in it. And then the baptism and church and woman will be included in the spirituality class. So that'll be combined, and it's just not really separate unless you want it separate. So if somebody wants just a baptism and church and woman class separate, I can do that as well separately. I'm just going to offer that idea, but the baptism and church and woman class will be included in the spirituality class as well for right now. And then I'm also going to have like a 3-class deal. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then the St. Anne postpartum planning class. So the St. Anne postpartum planning class is my other class I'm working on. It'll probably be available in the summer sometime. And the informational class on helping you plan for your postpartum. So it'd be great for somebody in their 3rd trimester to take this class. You could take it real quick right after you had a baby if you wanted to. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. If you wanted to take a class after you had your baby, come on over, quickly get on the class, because this is really meant for before you had a baby, just so you can, get your helpers in place. But if you're looking for something and you need some recipes or freezer meal ideas or whatever, then this class is for you, because it's going to have all kinds of planning things in it. And it's okay if you take it after you just had your baby. My audience is kind of 3rd trimester or immediate postpartum. And it'll be like a pantry checklist, preparing for baby checklist, breastfeeding tips to get started. And it'll include my book, A Catholic Postpartum, and you can get like a print version of that book with the class, or you can get a PDF version, just whichever one you want. The print version will cost about $25 extra, just so I can get you the book and mail to you. So I'm really excited about having a postpartum planning class. I think it's something we kind of overlook a lot, and I'm hoping that the class will get more of my book into more people's hands. I'm thinking if I have a class that kind of goes with the book, then that might help moms better. So that's my plan, is to kind of match it a little bit with the book and get y'all planning for your postpartum. And then I'm going to have like a 3-in-1 thing. So if you want, I have several little mini classes and you want to just take 3 together. Let's say you want to take the St. Anne, you want to take the spirituality labor class, and maybe you want to take the dad boot camp or something. Those 3 will be a special bundle deal. So or we can even include the bigger classes. But anyway, or maybe you chose the spirituality labor without the baptism one, but you wanted to add in the baptism one, then you could add that in too. So we're going to have all kinds of choices for those bundles, and the bundles will give you extra discounts. So it's almost like getting like a mini class for free when you do it that way. So now what does this course cover? So we're going to focus on this main St. Gianna course. So this main Gianna course, this includes spirituality and labor in it. We include a little bit of dad stuff in it, but we still recommend a dad boot camp separately if dads want more information. And we're not going to have a postpartum planning with us though. So if you want the postpartum planning class with this one, we can also do like a discount for the combination of doing those 2. And I don't really have the only separate breastfeeding class I have right now is a mom advocate course, but it's meant more for teaching you how to run a breastfeeding classes, or not classes, but breastfeeding support group. So like if you're wanting to start your own support group for other Catholic mothers, I call it the mom advocate class, then you can take that mom advocate course, but it's not meant to replace a how-to breastfeeding class. So if you're interested in a how-to breastfeeding class, message me and I'll do that as a separate class, and I'll be willing to do that for you. I also have something called Mommy Latch Educator if somebody's just wanting to know more about like education in that direction. Okay, so anyway, sorry, I'm just getting off track a little bit. I've got so many classes. So okay, I'm going to focus on this class right now. So this class, we're just going to cover you know, our main class here for St. Gianna Childbirth is to get you started learning about childbirth. So the first little part, we're going to get started with childbirth education. Then we're going to talk about Christ-centered childbirth book, gifted birth book, the Comfort birth book, plus a little bit of Little Way of Motherhood, and then case studies. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's kind of what we focus on in this. And also we'll have a little bit about rebozo later on, like in the next, you know, like in the fuller module, it'll have rebozo in here. I forgot that in there. So rebozo will be covered later. Okay, so we're gonna have rebozo covered later on here. Okay. So learning objectives on this section. Understanding this course, knowing we covered natural childbirth focus, spiritually focused, etc. So welcome, Mama. We want our course to be easier to understand and follow through. So this section is kind of a guide to help you finish and get through the class faster. We decided to make a special classroom on thinkific.com just for you. So for using this module as sampler, you will see the special classroom link, and you'll be able to enroll at Thinkific after paying through CatholicDoula.com. So we do not take any payments through Thinkific.com anymore. Once we receive your payment, you will receive access, and we'll let you enroll at no extra cost on Thinkific platform. So they'll basically just say enroll for free, and then you'll be able to get into that classroom. I'm hitting the links because I don't want everybody to know that, or I might end up with somebody taking a class for free that doesn't belong there. Okay, so we're just asking that once we give you a link, not to share it with anybody. Thinkific.com short guide. So there's going to be a guide inside the platform that'll show you how to work through the course. There'll be a menu, a class information. There'll be a video, you know, things like that. There'll be a PDF file like this, where you'll see. It'll not be in Word. It'll not be PowerPoint, but it'll be a PDF file. But it'll just look just like this, without the extra things on the side. And so you basically just look at the file that you get. You'll get a recording once I get my recordings made. If you decide you don't want to do recordings, then you probably won't get, I'm not sure if I'll have the classroom access then, because the classroom access is going to, well, eventually have the recordings in it, at least. So I'm thinking most people want the recordings anyway, so I'm not too worried about it right now. Okay, then we'll have like video links and discussion forums. So we're going to look a video link like in here. We have a video link, so you will kind of double click the video link. Let's see if I can. I might have to just open it. All right, we'll open this link. I'm gonna just stop the share. I'm just gonna show you this link real quick. Let's see if this is that. Okay.
Harbor Freight knows
Okay,
any given day we're all mechanics.
Okay, yeah. So
the best way that a new
only
mom
1
could
minute.
prepare for a natural childbirth in a hospital is ideally to get a midwife. If that hospital has midwives, if midwives have privileges there. And if you can't find a midwife, you could just basically seek out a doctor who supports natural childbirth, somebody who's on the same page as you, who will support you and who will back you and what it is that you would want for your birth plan, which is basically all of your preferences written down on a piece of paper that you hand to everybody you meet when you get in the hospital, and lets them know that you're informed of your choices, that you're well educated about the interventions they have there, but that you're opting out of them. That way nobody's coming at you like you're not aware of what an epidural is, or you don't know what, Pitocin is, or any induction drugs. Just let them know that you're aware and that you're making these conscious choices. And if you have a doctor or midwife who backs you, that's really the best way to go about it.
Okay, so that's just like a short video introducing natural childbirth. And so you would watch some of our videos, and then you have like a homework assignment. Discuss one thing you learned from the childbirth intro video. Feel free to ask a question too. Go ahead and post the discussion to the forums. So there's kind of like a little forum inside of Thinkific where you can add a discussion or write down something. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Like I said, the homework stuff can be just done between you and your spouse if you want as a mama. So that's, it's all completely optional. I do give out certificates for those who want to do the homework and send it in. So this is just a little bit more about the homework. So if you want to turn in the homework, there is like discussion points, 25 points, homework, 100 points. quizzes, it's 70 are up, 50 case studies, 100 skills go from 50 to 100 points. You could send Aubrey Maria Dula a Gmail for the homework stuff. Now, if I put any quizzes in there, there's gonna be automatic graded because Thinkific has like an automated grading thing. You might just go in there and do just the quizzes for fun if you wanted to. Will this be a group class or one-on-one? Okay, so this is more my group class. The class will be a group class, however, you might get lucky and be the only couple that comes to the class. If you want to schedule something private outside my planned group schedule, then there will be slightly extra people working with my schedule and your schedule. So thanks for understanding. So we're basically making it more of a group online class. So everybody will just meet online Zoom. We'll just have everybody in Zoom room. And then we might have a little extra practice time during the class and probably have 2 40-minute sessions because that's usually what I am limited to when I'm doing a live class with somebody. Unfortunately, that's just what I have for Zoom right now. But I don't think we really need that much extra time than that. If we need extra time, then I would just probably add in an extra video, but I've never usually had to go over that much time. I don't think we need to go over 2 40-minute sessions. It's like almost an hour and a half. So I don't want to spend up too much more on people's time, or an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. Okay. So what is the focus of our childbirth education? We do focus on natural childbirth. However, we always free to accept an epidural, any mention you like, recover information about them too, just because we don't know where you're coming from. We don't know if you've ever seen an epidural or understand what that is. We want you to know exactly and be informed. So this class is assuming you are a new parent, this is your first time, but we are okay with if you've had a baby before, you want to come back and do a second time around class, a third class. I've had somebody in the past, this was her 7th baby, and she took my course. And I think it just had been a while since she had a baby, and she really loved my class at the time. And I really got reviews from her. I think her name is Stephanie. Anyway, so Stephanie really loved my class, and it was her 7th baby, so I was pretty excited. I was like, oh good, somebody wanted to take my class for their 7th baby. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to come back and do a class because you just want that more spiritual focus, but you want the full class because I'm going through everything, then this is the class for you. We're going to focus on spirituality aspects, so that's missing in many regular classes. And I'll get our classes over to Christians, Catholic, Orthodox women, anybody that wants this spiritual component. We also focus on the use of rebozo shawl as a tool, and I'll show you that more when we have an actual rebozo class. You'll learn about rebozo techniques in the module. We'll focus on my method, comfort birth method, because we want you to have the most comfortable birth of your dreams. That is our goal with our course. So no matter what interventions you choose or not choose, this is your birth, your goals, and that's what we're hoping to work with. Before we leave this section, there's another video you can watch. I'm not going to run it right now, but you can run this one on your own to watch. I probably will run, when I do the actual recordings for y'all, I probably will run all the videos just so to make sure y'all have seen them all. So there's just 5 tips for natural birth, and I name her tips. That's kind of like a discussion forum question there. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Christ-centered childbirth. This is the next book that we're talking about. And so we're going to start with Pregnancy is a God Thing, Chapter 5. I know there's a lot of kind of preview chapters in this book. There's a lot of chapters in this book. So we're just going to focus on a few of the chapters. Like there's acknowledgements, preface, note from author, forward, let us pray. Okay, and that's like the first 19 pages. Love begins at conception, the author of life. I might go over the author of life a little bit. Joys of pregnancy, building a temple. Those are the first 4 chapters. You could go ahead and read the first 4 chapters. I don't see anything wrong with going and reading all the first 4 chapters and then reading the 5th chapter. So I would at least read the first 5 chapters of the book, but we're just focusing on the 5th chapter for this section. If you have any questions about the other chapters when we're meeting, I'm open to answering those as well when we're meeting together. Now, I didn't have time to write all my commentary on this. I will in the fuller course. So I basically just kind of reiterate what the book says about ovulation, the feast, things like that. There's a list of like the different feasts that go with things. So it's all kind of interesting. It talks about how your cycle works with the feast of the Lord. So talk about Passover, ovulation. Feast of unleavened bread is fertilization, so that means it's conception. Feast of first fruits is implantation. First week's Pentecost, recognizable human fetus. Feast of trumpets, hearing. Day of Atonement, hemoglobin A. So it just talks a little bit about how all this can be kind of related to this biblical approach, which is I really think is cool. Feast of Tabernacles, lung development. So it's really, really kind of immersed in there. And then there's like a little chart at the back of the chapter. So anyway, and then there's like a Bible study discussions in the book too. So you can discuss those questions with each other. So that's just kind of a quick overview of that chapter. And we will have probably a deeper discussion in the class. I'm just didn't have time to write all that, make all those slides up right now, but we'll have those more in the class later. Okay, so the Gift of Birth book is the first one we showed you. This one. So I'll read this one next. So on this one, you read the first 3 chapters of the Gift of Birth book. We'll mostly focus on chapter 1, okay? Don't have to worry about the other ones as much. How has God chosen me to hold and bear in my very body this kind of love? So our author midwife was expecting to hear about morning sickness. It says she gets a surprise. This mother's asking, am I worthy of motherhood? God has chosen you. You did not choose me, but I chose you. And I appointed you to and bear fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. John 15:16. That's a quote from the Bible. So this author meets with her client. She's just expecting to hear the normal things, and she feels different. She finds something different. So the feminine mystery. So the author also talks about Pope John Paul II, and it's quoted in the book about the feminine mystery. You can kind of read a little bit more about that. It's not meant to talk about woman as a weaker sex, but woman is a pure feminine creature that God made for man to take his spouse in this life. Eve bore the first child and gave birth for the first time. She's called the womanhood of bearing children, and so are you. So that's kind of like my take on this section. And no, I will not be calling John Paul II saint. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I'm a traditional Catholic. I'm not really getting it. So if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I'm just gonna call him Pope John Paul II. I'm only gonna call the popes after the pope name. So maybe he is a saint. I don't know. Prayerful reflection of chapter 1. Answer the questions. Who is the Holy Spirit to you? Have you thought of motherhood as a call from God? So are you called to motherhood? Yes, we're all called to motherhood. If we're married and we're having babies, or maybe we had miscarriage, but we're still called to motherhood. So this is a calling that God has given us to bear children. And if you're pregnant recently, you can read about the Annunciation and meditate about that section in this chapter. So these are questions you could send in to us if you want to. You don't have to, again, you don't have to send in the homework. It's up to you to send in the homework if you want. Okay. Chapter 2. So there's some chapter 2 reflections. I'm just going to include those in here so you can go back and read chapter 2 and then write your answers for those questions too. All right, now we're going to talk about comfort and birth method and the Plus a Little Way in Motherhood book. Learning more about birth. And the readings, I will send send you a PDF or just send you the chapters I want you to read. And so the first, read Little Way of Motherhood, first 3 chapters, and read the first 2 chapters of Comfort and Birth Method. And so Birthland is what we kind of talk about in the first chapter. Discussion forum post. After reading chapter 1 from Comfort Birth Method, do you experience Birthland before, second, third, or time mom? If you are a first-time mother, this is your first baby, what do you expect it to be like? Do you have preconceived notions from TV or other places? To kind of discuss that on the forum. I know I've seen a lot of different weird TV episodes of birth. I will have to say, I was watching Farscape, which is kind of a sci-fi fantasy, and I really loved the birth scene in that one. It seemed more realistic to me with the timing of it. She was in labor for a little bit and it was during a battle. It was really pretty exciting. Here they are in the battle, and they're still trying to have a baby in the middle of it. And she actually has a water birth. There's some kind of pool in the middle of the scene, and so she actually gets inside this pool and has a baby. It was pretty cool. I was like, this is the most coolest birth scene I've ever seen in a movie. So I'm like, if you ever want to watch Farscape, it's gonna be the Farscape movies, or there's two extra little Farscape adventures at the end that are separate from the series. So if you want to find it, I'll help you find that first scene. I mean, you probably won't get the concept of the rest of the stuff that's going on, but unless you've seen the whole series. But I would just say that was one of my favorite birth scenes. I have seen some other ones, probably on Star Trek or something, that weren't quite as good as that one. But I would encourage you to go find some encouraging birth stories to watch. Maybe go look up Hypno Babies birth stories on YouTube or something like that. So if you haven't really experienced birth yet, and you've only seen most of the weird TV ones where they just kind of push out the baby and they look like they're screaming in pain, don't watch any more of that. Okay? Don't watch that stuff. Go actually watch some real shows on YouTube, real things that portray birth a little bit better, I think. And I think it'll help you understand it better too. So chapter 2, so this is after you read chapter 2. What does comfort birth method mean to you after reading our description? You understand the history of birth better now. Name 3 things you learned from this chapter. And also cover let go fears section and the fuller module. There's a little letting go fears information on there. So little way, I'm going to go ahead and read the 3 chapters. Discuss the 3 things you learned from Little Way of Motherhood. So basically discuss that. And now we're going to have the dad, this kind of example, the dad boot camp section. So I'm now I made this one up. There might be something in the book that's slightly different, but I just made this one up for this module. So dear dad, you're probably pretty excited that your wife is pregnant and you're about to be a dad for the first time. Might not sink in quite yet if you've just found out, or perhaps you're waiting for that first ultrasound picture of the baby. Or perhaps you're just a second dad time then excited at another baby anyway. Well, that section is for you. We'll go over some tips to help you and your wife enjoy pregnancy and labor together. Or maybe you've already seen the ultrasound too. Okay. Affirm your wife. In early pregnancy, there is not going to be a lot of fun things you can do in later pregnancy, like kid counting, hearing the baby's heart beat is a little easier when the baby's bigger. So what are some ways to encourage your wife during her first trimester? These things can be done at any time. Affirm your wife. Write her little love messages. Give her a shoulder massage, help her feel love, showing affection in your own way, or using your love language. So now we're going to talk about love languages. So what are love languages? There's a book called Love Languages. So the love languages are just a way of expressing happiness or joy to somebody, or helping, the mother feel more comfortable in different situations. So love language of gifts. The mother may enjoy a gift, or you may enjoy giving them. This is her love language, and she truly enjoys all or any gift you give. To give her a gift, even her first trimester. So though I like gifts, sometimes I get a little upset when I don't exactly get the gift I'm thinking I want. So I had to kind of be a little bit nicer to say, hey, I enjoyed the gift, honey, but it wasn't really what I was wanting. But anyway, that's all right. He was thinking about me. Anyway. So maybe gifts isn't my love language because I'm not always I'm always kind of a little weird on gifts sometimes. Love language or quality time. Sometimes this one's a little harder to find. Does your wife enjoy just being with you or going on a date night? This might be her love language. You may want to plan a fun candlelight dinner for two. This is your first baby. You will not be able to do this again alone. Think about your time as a couple and go to a fun restaurant together and go to the movies together. We did this a lot. We spent quality time together when we were first married. I was pregnant with our daughter, and we just spent those first 9 months together, just really getting to know each other and going to restaurants and having fun. So it's one of my favorite memories of our early honeymoon stage, you might call it. Okay, touch. So touch, if your wife loves touch, then this might be her love language. If she asks for a massage quite often, or hugs, or kisses, you might just spend some time with your pregnant wife, giving her some loving touch therapy. Service. So love language of service. If your wife is constantly wanting you to do this or that, any kind of things around the house, she may have the love language of service. So she may enjoy the services you provide for her. Maybe do a special service for her one day during her pregnancy and see if she notices. So it might be something you might want to think about. 5, love language of affirmations. Your wife loves you to whisper sweet words to her or affirm her work, then this may be her love language. Affirming and praising your wife can lead to a wonderful time elsewhere. You can also go to 5lovelanguages.com and take the couples quiz to see what love language you are as a couple. You may wish to share love language with us if you want. Otherwise, no need for posting anything on the forum. Practice. Affirm her. Make little love notes what you would like to give to your wife. Write down a few things you would love about your wife. Slip little affirmations into her purse or surprise her in the house. See if she knows the affirmations. Tell us what happened when you do this. You may share an affirmation you gave her if so desired. And this is just the email, just in case you want to do that. So dads, it's time to get out the affirmations. What do you want to do for your wife this week on that? And we might come back to those other love languages later in another module, so be prepared. Okay. Now, 1.5 case study rebozo. So this is last time review, and we're just gonna do like a review of stuff. So Rihanna case study. Rihanna's a young new mom. She's never experienced birth land before. This is her first baby. She's having some fears about labor. She talked about letting go of. We talked some about letting go of fears in chapter 2. Can you help her through the steps of Lingo's reference page in the book? Sorry, I had to look up the page. I'm just leaving that blank right now. There's actually 2 versions of my book. There's a Cover Birth Method Amazon version, and there's a drafted digital version. And the page numbers are slightly different because I had to reformat it for Amazon. So you can pretend you're Rihanna and do this exercise with a friend if so desired. Or, so you can pretend like you're Rihanna, or you can do it with a friend. Whatever you want to do on this one, and write down your own fears only, and you can let go of them. So you could work with your wife, mama and husband can work with us together. Also, if you have I also had a letting go of exercise, let go of fears exercise earlier in this module when we have a fuller class. You might want to you could combine those 2 if you want. That's fine with me. Okay, now. Rebozo Mexican Shaw. So we're exploring the Mexican Shaw in our fuller course with assignments on techniques that you'll learn. So we're gonna have like a couple of techniques, 1 or 2 techniques each module. And there's 6, and you're asking me how. I forgot to mention there's 6 modules usually in this class, and then I might have an extra module for be-back mothers at some point. So if y'all are a be-back mom and you want a little extra encouragement or information, then I'm hoping to make that extra too. So this is a checklist of assignments and the class. So this is be at the end, so you don't have to go back and look at everything. So childbirth education section, video A and video B discussion. To make turn video or via email if desired. There's no case study. Christ-centered childbirth, optional discussion, what you learned from the book. There's nothing else that I know of I'm going to do for that section. Gift of birth, we'll have the reflections you'll do for turning in. Comfort and birth method, we'll have the discussions, and then the letting go of fears exercise, but that can be combined with a case study. And then the 1.5 we'll have Rebozo techniques if you're doing this for the fuller class, or the Rebozo techniques in there. Okay, and the case study. So that's the overview of this class. I probably took about 40 minutes doing this video. I'm not really sure, but anyway. So a module might be able to be done in around 40-ish minutes, but I'm probably going to add a little bit more to this class. So, again, we need an extra video session. We'll have 2 40-minute sessions if we need it. The second 40-minute session, we could have some discussion time if we needed to, as well as as your teacher. I want to be able to answer questions, especially if we're doing a group class. So, we just try to get through each module as quickly as we can. And some modules will probably be longer than this. This is probably usually my short module is the first one. But I'm going to try to keep them not too long, but I want to just make them a little bit more fresher and, make them a little bit better organized. So that's why I was kind of restarting, making a new improved class. Anyway, so thanks for coming to whoever came to this class. And if you're a doula and you want to count, if you are a doula or childbirth educator and you need a childbirth class to come to, then you can come to a class. You can count this as your class to go to, this one module class or something as a, helping you with the childbirth education part of your doula training. So, if you need that class credit, let me know. And I'll be glad to give you a certificate, especially if you're doing it through a different course or something. If you're doing it through a different course besides Catholic Doula Program, I will charge you for a small fee for doing the class, just because it's, maybe a donation towards our scholarship fund or something like that. But if you're with a Catholic Doula Program or Magnificent classes or something like that, it's free to come. Okay, that's how I'm going to word that. I don't want to sound like I'm not trying to make money off of people. It's just nice to donate to our scholarship fund because we are constantly raising money for women who need scholarships. So if you're a mama and you're interested in being the doula at some point, then, we do have scholarship funds. And I also would like to have some scholarship funds possibly for the childbirth classes as well. So, that would be maybe a separate fund that we will do as well. So maybe there's a couple that wants to take the childbirth class and they don't quite have, the full whatever amount I'm going to charge for the class, and we're going to hopefully get some funds for that as well. Okay, and in the pilot class, I'll probably do a little discount as well. So repilot, I guess. It's a redoing of the class. Okay, so thanks for coming. Anybody who comes today also gets an automatic $50 off. So if you're wanting to take this course, it's like, oh, this sounds like a really wonderful course. I want to take this class because I am interested in childbirth education. I want a Catholic childbirth education. And you like what you saw, and I hope you like what you saw in this class. And this is a class for you, and you'll get $50 off. Just say I took your little free mini conference, and I want the $50 off if you decide to do the full class. Okay, and you can go to CatholicDoula.com and find parent classes link, and I will soon have the information up there. It's not up there yet, but I will have it up there sometime in March. Okay, thank you.